What is it?
You would prefer the human race to endure, right?
Uh,
You're hesitating.
Yeah, well,
yes?
I don't know. I would,
This is a long hesitation. This is a long hesitation.
There's so many questions implicit
Should
in this.
the human race survive?
Yes.
Okay.
But
God. I mean, that was 22 seconds it took him.
Yeah. So these moments in the history of science where you have a group of scientists look at their creation and just say, you know, what have we done? Maybe it's great, maybe it's bad, but what have we done? Like maybe the most iconic example is thinking about the scientists working on the Manhattan Project in 1945, sitting there watching the Trinity test and just, you know, this thing that had, it was a completely new, not human scale kind of power, and everyone knew it was going to reshape the world. And I do think people working on AI have that feeling in a very deep way. You know, we just don't know. Like, we think it's going to be great. There's clearly real risks. It kind of feels like you should be able to say something more than that. But in truth, I think all we know right now is that we have discovered, invented, whatever you want to call it, something extraordinary that is going to reshape the course of human history.
Dear God, man. But if you don't know, we don't know.
Well, of course. I mean, I think no one can predict the future. Like, human society is very complex. This is an amazing new technology. Maybe a less dramatic example than the atomic bomb is when they discovered the transistor a few years later.
The transistor radio?
The little transistor part that, you know, made computers and radios and everything else. But we discovered this completely new thing that enabled the whole computer revolution and is in this microphone and those computers and our iPhones. And like, the world would be so different if people had not discovered that and then over the decades figured out how to make them smaller and more efficient. And now we don't even think about it because the transistors are just in everything. We have all this modern technology from that one scientific discovery. And I do think that's what AI is going to be like. We had this one crazy scientific discovery that led to these language models we all use now. And that is going to change the course of society in all kinds of ways. And of course, we don't know what they all are.
Damn. I was hoping you knew by the end of that sentence. Or I was hoping you would, you know, like that's what because we don't know. You know, like that's, I think, the tough thing.
There's no time in human history at the beginning of a century where the people ever knew what the end of the century was going to be like.
Yeah.
So maybe I do think it goes faster and faster each century. It's certainly like, you know, in 1900, you couldn't have predicted what 2000 was going to be like. I think in 2000, you could even less predict what 2100 was going to look like. But that's kind of why it's exciting. And like, that's kind of why people get to figure out and unfold the story as we go.
It's kind of bizarre because I think I start to feel like we're in this universe where it's like you're walking down the street or something and like a Waymo goes by and it's like, eat now. And you're like, and you already did eat. It's just got a bad reading or something. It's got a bad valve in it or something. You're like yelling at it. There's nobody in there. And you're like, I already ate. It's like, sit down and eat now. And it just like fucking uses like a t-shirt cannon to just like shoot a burrito at you. And then you're sitting there, you're eating that, you know? And then the GLP car goes by, right?
And says, I can help you out.
Yes. And it's like, obviously you've overeaten. And you're like, I didn't even want to eat. That thing's messed up, right? You're yelling at a car that has no driver in it. And then it shoots you with 3 GLP-1 darts in the neck. And now your wife doesn't even recognize you when you get home or whatever, you know?
The fact that you find this so off-putting, I think, is a sign for optimism.
Yeah.
Like,
that's actually a good point. It's
you're
kind of
wired.
fun.
You're going to be resistant to that. That's not going to make you happy. That's not going to make other people happy. Now, maybe we get tricked. Like, social media tricked us for a while. We got too addicted to feeds, whatever. But we realized, like, actually, this is not helping me be my best. You know, like, doing the equivalent of getting the, like, burrito cannon into my mouth on my phone at night, like, that's not making me long-term happy.
Right.
And that's not helping me like really accomplish my true goals in life. And I think if AI does that, people will reject it. However, if ChatGPT really helps you to figure out what your true goals in life are and then accomplish those, you know, it says, hey, you've said you want to be a better father or a better, you know, you want to be in better shape or you know, want to like grow your business. If you want, we can change that goal and I can help you scroll TikTok all night or, you know, eat the burritos or whatever, and I'll give you the GLP-1 shots and I'll make you as healthy as you can. But like maybe instead I can try to help convince you should go for a run tonight. And I think if AI feels like it is helping you try to accomplish your goals and be your best, that will feel very different than the last generation of technology.
Yeah. And you know what? And that's where I'm like, And that's where a kid growing up right now, to them, that would probably, some young people might be like, that makes the most sense. I'm a little older generation. I might be like, oh, that seems a little, but that's always how things are with generation to generation.
It's always how it goes.
Yeah, you're right. And maybe this is just like a quicker evolution of things. And for young people, it's going to make so much sense. And for older people, and you're just going to be like, get tech lords or almost have some tech built into them, like almost I don't want to say like an autism, dude. Because
you couldn't say that.
Okay.
I think so. I mean, yeah. To take the kind of like harshest look at us collectively, I can, are we a little autistic on the whole? I would say probably.
Yeah, dude, I knew that shit.
But that's all right.
No, that's what I'm saying. For years ago, first time I ever met some people with autism, I was like, dude, these guys are computers, right? Like a lot of these guys are just, they're kind of like a little bit of a cyborg in some way in the way that they think, right?
Look, you are this like impossibly charming, cool guy, and I'm like kind of a lot more computery than you.
But you're not much though.
We can have it. We can still like figure it out.
Yeah. I really don't mean it as an offense, but I think that we may need that in people to get whatever's next in the world. Yeah, do you think that's realistic?
Yeah, I think society needs like this very broad diversity of people. You need some people like me. You need some people who are more normal than me. You don't want too many of me, but like.
Yeah. You don't want too many of any one thing. Yeah. But yeah. Yeah, I'm like, God, yeah, these people are able to see things differently and quantify things differently. Do you always feel, because some tech guys, they just have a different understanding of possibility, right? A different understanding of feeling and thing. Do you feel human all the time?
I do feel human all the time, but I feel like I have noticed that I think extremely differently about the future, about exponential change, about compounding technology than almost anybody else that I kind of come across in regular life. So
that's cool.
I feel extremely human. I feel like, driven by crazy emotions as much as anybody, but I am like very aware that I have a different lens than a lot of people.
Have you met some people in tech space and you're like, whoa, that guy is only like 6 or 7%. He's low. Not a lot of human in him.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Do you think it's inevitable that AI or AGI will merge into our bodies? I know you've talked about this before in the past. As things go along and advance quickly, do you start to see that a little bit differently? I know you've talked about how you don't think it's like a glasses thing or something like that.
I'll tell you a fascinating story.
Okay.
I was with a friend last week.
And did I offend you by asking that?
Not at all.
Okay.
0%.
I thought that was a great answer. And I really appreciate it. Because yes, some of us we can't conceptualize sometimes how you guys are thinking. I can't even we feel like we can't figure it out, So it feels like it's almost like it's like, are we all evolving into this new kind of species? And that's where we meet the future at anyway. And you're just like the dang Paul Revere out there. It's like.
For better or for worse,
like
I think whenever you see someone who thinks differently than you, you're just like I'm fascinated by you. I don't quite understand how you do your thing. I know I couldn't do it. I know you just understand the world differently than me. But I think that's cool. And I'm just like, all right, I'm glad.
Yeah, that's how I feel.
Yeah.
I think it's just, thanks for just talking with me about it. Because sometimes I think I get afraid to say.
I don't think you should be afraid. I don't think anybody would be offended by that. I was talking to this friend of mine though about how he uses ChatGPT and he's been using it a lot for a couple of years now, and he noticed recently that he started giving it personality tests. He had uploaded any personality test he could find to ChatGPT and say, based on what you know about me, answer this. And he had never like told it, here's my personality. It had just learned it from the questions he asked over the years, and on every one he tried, it got exactly the answer and exactly the outcome he would get. And so that's not like, he didn't get uploaded, he didn't get merged, he didn't plug something into his brain, but somehow like the pattern of him had gotten imprinted into this AI.
Wow. Maybe we're not as complex as we think we are.
Or maybe we are, and AI can just learn it really well. AI can represent these very complex things. One of those two. But that was a real moment for me of wow, the merge maybe can happen in a very different way than we thought.
Yeah. Yeah, because you think of it as this thing kind of taking over your system and your dad presses a button.
They don't honor what the technology is not really capable of. So I want to make a totally new kind of computer that is meant for this world of AI helping you all the time. I'm super excited about it.
You are?
Yeah.
You guys, there's this thing called Agent that you guys had showed me earlier. Yeah. I can take this out if I mentioned it and I wasn't supposed to. It was pretty fascinating. It was cool to see.
It is, yeah. This is a new thing that we just did. But the idea that an AI can not just answer questions for you, but it can go actually do stuff on your behalf as your agent. It can go do research for you. It can go book something for you. It can go buy something for you. It can go change some things in the world for you and think more and use tools. I think most people think of ChatGPT as this app that you can ask anything, but it'll become this thing that can do anything. And that'll change how you use computers. It'll change how you do things in your life. If you
I was watching the guy do it, and it was just kind of fascinating. He was showing like one time he went to like a website and bought something he needed, and then now moving forward, he could just be like, "Hey, go to this and make sure to get me these," or go here and see, go to the restaurants I like and see if there's any table available for 7 p.m. tomorrow. And it was able to book it and do everything. It was like having a secretary right there.
Totally. When I first started using it, I was like, it was one of those moments where I could tell that, oh man, doing this the old-fashioned way is going to feel like the Stone Age so quickly. I'm going to like try to tell people someday, like, do you remember when if we wanted to do something, we actually had to go like click around the internet and like, look for a table. Yeah. And then if we wanted to move it, we had to like call the restaurant. And that's going to be unimaginable because of course you just tell your AI to do those things for you.
Yeah. Yeah. You feel like you would almost just tell it to go eat too,
That's the fun part.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's
no one likes booking the table. Everyone loves sitting there eating.
That's a good point, huh? Yeah. Yeah. It won't take away the fun part. That's the thing. I think you got to remember that. It won't take away the fun part.
You're going to do the things you want to do. There's a lot of things in your life you probably don't love doing. Like booking an open table is maybe one of them.
Yeah. And then you'll have like old fashioned, be like, no, I'll book it. You're like, Dad, what do you mean? Get off the phone or whatever. Don't call him, you freaking weirdo. Use your agent.
Totally.
You're like, oh, I'll book it. There's like a lot of these guys have bunkers. Zucky has a bunkie. I know that somewhere out in Hawaii. People have bunkers. Do you have a bunker?
I have like underground concrete heavy reinforced basements, but I don't have anything I would call a bunker.
Hold on, dude. Look, I'll let you keep me on the ropes in a lot of this conversation, but I am going to call that out as a dang bunker, dude. Sam, that's a bunker.
What's the difference between a basement and a bunker?
A place you could hide when it all goes off or whatever.
I know. Yeah, I have been thinking I should really do a good version of one of those, but I don't have what I would call a bunker, but it has been on my mind. Not because of AI, but just because of like people are dropping bombs in the world again. And like.
That's a good point. That's a very good point. Yeah, basement right there. Part of a house building typically used for storage, laundry, extra living space, or utilities. And then bunker built for protection, often military or emergency related, meant to withstand explosions.
Yeah, we don't have that yet. Do you guys do this just for me or do you use ChatGPT as the fact check?
We did this just for you.
I appreciate it. This is nice.
Could we ever have, instead of, so you start to see, say if AI comes over and there's this whole new kind of like, I believe that one of the things that's been happening, there's been like a lot of like ICE raids and people getting like taken out of their homes. And, there's been a lot of crackdown because part of me believes that they're having to get everybody documented or online basically because they're going to start to have this facial recognition everywhere. Like I have this idea of that. So yes, this stuff had to happen because in a year or year and a half, you wouldn't even be able to be outdoors anywhere without a drone or something noticing you or some camera noticing that you're not supposed to be there or you're not there with documentation, right? Whatever people's thoughts are on that. But just so part of me starts to see like, oh, okay, that's going on. Do you think we could ever then down the line have new countries like delineated by like almost like a new AI landscape? Like remember when on Snapchat, if you were in a certain realm, you could put like a filter on something?
Yeah.
And they almost created these new like geo barriers and stuff. Do you think we could potentially be looking at something like that one day?
I know that what you just said is going to happen. I know that we're going to have like cameras on, all over the place and it's going to make the cities way safer because everybody, like if you commit a crime, they'll have like a facial recognition hit on you right away. But man, do I find that dystopic. Like
you do.
Of course, like, is it like a good trade if it means like people stop getting murdered in the streets? Yeah, sure. We agree to like give up some privacy for that. But it sits so uncomfortably with me. In like London or whatever, you see those cameras on every street corner and you're just like, you get used to it fast.
Yeah.
But you're just like, oh, it feels like privacy is important. And like you really are like, there's nothing I can do to live in the world and avoid all these cameras.